Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying tuned to the Public Finance Trail program. Remember to keep your thoughts coming through the number on our screens. Mr. Kiprono, before we went for a break, and previously on our discussion, we said that especially for your organization that is supposed to be aware whether these forums are going on in Uasin Gishu County, and it came out so clear that you are not aware whether these forums are going on. And what do you think the youth can do to ensure that these programs are operational and actually they happen in accordance with the frameworks provided with the Constitution?
I'm not really sure if I have an answer to your question as of now, what exactly the youth can do. Because we don't know whether the forum exists or
they're just there and
yes,
not really.
or it's just there, but it's not really helping. Then if we know it exists, then we could give you an answer around what they should do in the event that the forum exists, but it's not helping them. The representative in there for youth is not helping them, or even they don't have a representative in the first place. That's a problem. So, but what we could say for now is that there are few things that the youth can do, and of course the other interest groups are represented or who has slots in the forum. And one of these is we hear every day people complaining, about there are no jobs. We're not getting medical drugs. The example that we've been using here all along about healthcare and access to medical drugs. Of course, that's a concern. We go to facility, then you're given prescriptions, then you purchase the medical drugs from the private facilities. But then, this kind of forum is supposed to give us the chance to sort out these issues. Okay, so now what I would want to say about the youth, for example, is they should start or stop complaining and act, by start asking questions about this forum in the first place. What is happening with this forum, and of course it applies to the other interest groups, people with disabilities. Instead of in addition to going to court, they should also ask questions around. So we have representation in this forum, we have representation in the county assembly, and why are our issues not being sorted? So it's that's the first thing that they should actually do, push government to establish this forum or to operationalize if it is there. Okay, so the second thing is, they could choose to keep complaining. Okay, keep complaining and forever, because if they can't push for the establishment of these structures, they can demand that these kind of structures are then established or operationalized, and then they're given the slot and the chance to articulate the issues, then they don't have to complain, because their provision is the law, and they're not using those provisions, and instead they just went to the street and all this kind of thing and asking the wrong questions at the wrong time,
and to the wrong people.
Yes, the wrong people, like we said in the previous show. So what should happen is, if they want to stop complaining, then they should push that these forums be established, these forums be operationalized, and make sure that the public participation that are happening, government is going out to control public and something like that. This kind of forums comes in to complement that role, because the way it is supposed to be done is the youth nominate one person to go to the forum, and then so this youth has direct linkage to the rest of the youth, go and meet this youth and discuss what are the issues, then goes to this forum and say, okay, look, the budget is not actually responding to the issues of the people I represent, something to person representing people with disabilities, something to women, something to the business community, something to faith-based groups and something like that. So they should start thinking, like, how do we utilize this forum so that the issues that we are complaining every day are addressed, or just stop complaining and accept life as it is. That's what I was saying.
Mr. Kongin, do you think there are efforts by some national institutions on the establishment of the county budget and economic forums, that the CBEF?
Thanks for that question. Major players at national level whose recommendations and directives are important when it comes to the county budget and economic forum include the Commission on Revenue Allocation and the control of budget. And recently, the CRA, the Commission for Revenue Allocation, gave some directive, or what you can say, they released guidelines on how the establishment of the CBF and its roles is supposed to be. So one of the key things that the CRA mentioned is how this forum is supposed to be formed, and the guidelines specifically say that within 60 days of the governor being appointed to office, he is supposed to pick names, get names from what the interest groups, in this case if it is the youth, women, persons with disability, they are supposed to nominate names for appointment to the CBF. Then once they have been nominated by these interest groups, the governor is supposed to review them and appoint these members, and he is also supposed to publicize them and in digital and print media, or let's say it's supposed to be made public in a formal way for the people to know who have been appointed to be members of the CBF. Yes. The second thing that is being mentioned by the guidelines is the roles that this forum is supposed to do regarding the budget process and the formulation of the various documents in the budget cycle. So this actually specifies like which documents which processes in the budget cycle that the CBF is supposed to be involved in. And also, lastly, it is supposed to explain, these guidelines explain how these members of the CBF are supposed to engage with their constituents. That is, they are supposed to be in constant engagement with the people they represent. So if it is persons with disability, youth, business community, they are all supposed to continuously engage, and also to be getting the recommendations, or let's say what their representatives are supposed to feel are supposed to be handled or are supposed to be discussed in the forum. So the role of this CBF, according to guidelines, is supposed to be actually a tool for all the interest groups to share their ideas to the government. So it's supposed to be them, the members of the forum, going directly to the people they represent and get their ideas, and then these ideas now is what they are going to discuss with the government.
Okay. Mr. Kiprono, he has just mentioned on the guidelines providing a framework of the functions of the forums. How do you think these guidelines are helpful to the youth, especially in addressing issues that are related to the forum?
Well, previously I spoke about the choices the youth have. For example, they can push for establishment of this forum or stop complaining. That's it. And now what is happening with the guidelines is that now it gives them the basis of making that argument. If they want to push for establishment of the establishment of this forum, they have the basis. Initially we said that the PFM Act was not clear, but now the Commission on Revenue Allocation, like we just mentioned, now are coming in to actually broaden the provisions in the PFM Act. So one of the things they can do now is use these guidelines to hold the government to account. Like, why is the forum not functioning if it is there? Or why isn't it constituted if it is not? And then they can also use these guidelines to question the basis of or how the forum was constituted if it is there. Of course, we are not very sure whether it's there. So to question so how was it established? How are the members appointed and or identified and all this kind of thing, yeah? So remember this, the forum works not really individuals. Like they have individual members, but individual members who are representing citizen groups. Okay, so it's not like representing individual citizens. So citizens who are in groups. For example, youth are in groups. We have, for example, like youth bunge. We have women in groups, you know. We have farmer organizations. We have the business community, like for example the Chamber of Commerce, for example, and the Kenya Manufacturers Association. Those are the people who are represented in this forum. So it's not individuals. So they have a very good chance now to use the guidelines from CRA to ask the government, can you put up this structure, for example, so that public participation becomes meaningful. Otherwise, the way it is, there's no point. Yes.
And that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking your time to shed some light on youth and public finance. Until next time, God bless you. I've been your host, Regina Orlando.